OP10 is finally here, which means we can finally stop adding an O between OP and the set number. I mean, I've called it OP10 a few times, but I'm going to try to correct myself. With this set comes new cards from the Punk Hazard, Saba Odi, and Dressrosa arcs. Usopp, Sugar, and Caesar Clown get their first leader cards, with Trafalgar Law, Captain Kidd, and Smoker getting brand new color combinations. Also, Smoker is Tashigi. Actually, a lot of these characters don't look right, but if you don't understand that, I would definitely go watch the Punk Hazard arc. Oh, hey Victor, what you got there? Oh, nice, an OP10 booster pack? Alright, let's crack it open, let's see if Lady Luck's got another manga for me. Oh, nice. Alright, these cards are pretty good in the pre-release format. And man, that's a pretty awesome rare. And what's this? Oh, I see what you did there, Victor. That's our deck building acronym for One Piece pre-releases. VICTOR, otherwise known as the strategy that'll help you become a victor in this weekend's pre-releases. Alright, Victor, I think I've got it from here. Let's go ahead and do this. The V in Victor stands for Vanillas. Can't build a good deck without them. Vanillas are characters without abilities and usually have a solid ratio of cost to power and 1000 counter. They come in all shapes and sizes, all costs, but I'd usually stick with the ones that apply the most amount of pressure to your opponent, so usually around 4 costs and above, but also feel free to use the 3 cost ones since they have 5000 power and can attack your opponent without any Dawn attached. The I in Victor stands for Interaction. These cards mean business when played by disrupting your opponent's board. KOing characters with effects is a huge tempo swing which allows your characters to keep swinging at their leader instead of worrying about the characters on their board. These kinds of cards are staples in your pre-release deck, so make sure you add them to your winning strategy. The C in Victor stands for Counter. 2000 counter cards are king in this format, and if you don't have them, you're going to be left behind with no life and no hand size. In this set, there are 12 2k counter cards, with the majority of them being at uncommon rarity, so make sure you add as many of these to your deck regardless of their abilities, because most likely they're just going to be counters. The T in Victor stands for Threats. These are the haymakers of the deck. Their influence on board is backbreaking for your opponent. These cards have above rate effects for their cost and immediately start paving your path to victory once they hit the battlefield. Definitely keep your eye out for these cards when deck building. The O in Victor stands for Obstacles. What's just as good as 2k counter cards? Cards with blocker. Don't want to use cards from hand? Just turn this baby sideways and negate that attack. Blockers are an absolute necessary way to ensure both your and your character's survival throughout the entire game. In this set, there are 11 blockers, with a majority of them being at common rarity, which is absolutely awesome for building your deck. And finally, the R in Victor stands for Reactions. These are event-based counters that will typically cost about 1 to 2 Dawn that you'll be using on your opponent's turn. These are great tools to get out of a pickle in the late game, especially if you don't want to use too many cards from hand. And that's the acronym. Hopefully this will help you build a successful deck during the OP10 pre-release. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, let's talk about what leaders you should play. If your store lets you choose any leader, I'd recommend rocking one of these. Red Sanji is the new king of this format. His ability to give something rush every single turn is unstoppable. Second to Sanji is Bonnie, who was the previous king of the pre-release format. She still offers a nice defensive strategy if you don't want to go with Sanji. If you don't have Sanji or Bonnie, you can always play good old reliable Red Zoro, or even starter deck Captain Kidd. Though I wouldn't recommend playing any 4-life leaders in this format with so many Sanjis potentially running loose. Oh yeah, and if your store is one of those that uses the Rainbow Luffy, which is honestly my preferred way to play a pre-release format nowadays, then leader locked cards are an absolute non-issue for your deck, so definitely play any of these cards listed here if you open them. And that's basically it. Hopefully you all get good pulls this weekend and some awesome wins during this pre-release. Now say goodbye to Victor. We'll see you again in the OP11 pre-release guide in a few months. Thanks to everybody who watched this video. If you enjoyed this type of content, definitely subscribe. Join the All Blue crew. We're hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by this summer. And we'll see you in the next video.